on, clap your hands, give God praise everywhere. Awesome privilege it is to share the sanctuary. Again, we thank God for his presence and his power in this place. Amen? Amen. Psalm 40. Psalm 40. Psalm 40. Just want to read verses 1 through 3. Psalm 40, 1 through 3. It says, I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined to me and heard my cry. He also brought me up out of a horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock, and established my steps. He has put a new song in my mouth. Praise to our God. Many will see it and fear and will trust in the Lord. I want to preach just for a few moments today from the subject, nobody but God. Nobody but God. Let me open today, ladies and gentlemen, by saying, in the life of every believer, there is a battle between who or what has caused trouble in their life. Say it again. In the life of every believer, there is a battle to see who or what has caused trouble in their life. Some believers hold to the fact the enemy or Satan himself is solely behind all of the trouble that they're going through. We have those who are under the impression that it is Satan, it is the enemy, it is Beelzebub, it is the adversary who is constantly fighting them and combating them and causing struggle and strife inside of their lives. But then, ladies and gentlemen, on the other hand, there are believers that understand the trouble in their life is not always Satan afflicted, but it is self afflicted. Are y'all gonna talk back to me here? I'll give it to you again. There are other believers who understand the trouble, the struggle, the strife, the strain that you and I go through is not only Satan inflicted, but 9 times out of 10, it is self-inflicted. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, you and I are the cause of some of the trouble that we find ourselves in. And if we would be honest with ourselves and with God in the sanctuary, we would have to suggest that if we look back far enough over our lives, if we look at the decisions that we have made, if we pay attention to the alliances and the relationships that we have forged and brought together, we would have to say that we are the cause of some of the issue in our lives. For truly, God on many a times has already spoken to us in our spirits and said, do not go that way. Do not forge relationship on that wise. Do not mess with or do not deal with that individual because they do not have your best interest at heart. But because you and I like to do what it is that we want to do when we want to do it, because we allow our flesh to talk to us and to maintain and to dictate our status in life, we find ourselves disobeying the word, will, and way of God for our lives and find ourselves in the middle of some trouble. Do I have anybody that's going to talk back to me here? I know it may not be a popular message today. It may not be a popular word to talk about, but sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, we have to come to the realization that you and I have done this to ourselves. The reason we are where we are financially, the reason we are where we are emotionally, the reason we are where we are physically and spiritually is simply because we did not take the word of God to heart, where he said, trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not to your own understanding, but in all of your ways acknowledge me and I will direct your path. In other words, we took it upon ourselves to make decisions on our own. We took it upon ourselves to try to work out our own soul salvation. We took it upon ourselves to try to work out our own circumstances and our own issues. And as a result of us doing it our own way, we now find ourselves living behind the 8 ball. We now find ourselves living from paycheck to paycheck. We now find ourselves alone and wanting. We now find ourselves in the middle of some trouble that we do not know how to get out of. Is there anybody in the sanctuary this morning that came to church just to be honest, to say, God, I know it's me. Yeah, I know I did it, God. I know I shouldn't have gone that way. I know I shouldn't have said it. I know you told me not to, but it looked so good. It felt so good. It looked like it was the right thing for me, even though you said not to go that route. God, I know it was me that caused myself the trouble that I am in. Do I got any witnesses in here? Is there anybody that can be honest and say, yeah, Pastor, I know, I'm with you. It was me. I did it. I went there. I know I had no business going, but I just couldn't help myself. And isn't, wait a minute, okay, let me stop. Is there anybody here that can say, and I can't even blame it on Satan? God, help me here. I wish I had help in the sanctuary. Do me a favor, look at somebody for the first time today and tell them, neighbor, Satan didn't do this one. No, he was not behind this. He was not the forerunner of this. He did not plan this. This was not a part of Satan's attack. This one was all me. Yes. It was all me. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as we begin to look at this text, this is where we find David. We find David in the middle of some trouble in the text. Yes, sir, right? Please catch this. David does not specify. He does not specify the cause of his distress. But he does acknowledge that his trouble was caused by his own sin. Y'all not going to talk back to me here. He does not specify. He does not go into detail about what his own sin was. Here, at least in Psalm 40, he does not. But he does acknowledge the fact that the reason he's in the mess that he's in is because of his own sin. Look at verse number 12. Look at verse 12 of Psalm 40. He says, for evils beyond number have surrounded me. My iniquities have overtaken me, so that I am not able to see. They are more numerous than the hairs on my head, and my heart has failed me. Oh, y'all not going to talk back to me. I give it to you again. He says in verse 12, for evils beyond number have surrounded me. My iniquities have overtaken me so that I am not able to see. They are more numerous than the hairs on my head, and my heart has failed. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, David is saying, because of my own decisions, I'm in over my head. I thought I had a church in here today. David says, because of my own mess ups, because of my own iniquities, I got so many of them, I can't really count them. I've lost count of how many times I stepped outside of the will of God. I've lost count of how many times he told me to go right and I went left. I lost count of why I'm in the situation that I am in, and I know I'm in over my head. Do I have any friends in the church today that can say, because of my struggle, because of my strife, I know I'm in over my head. I know I've done some stuff that got me deeper than what I wanted to go. I know I've been in some places that caused me more pain than what I was really ready to deal with. Can I suggest, ladies and gentlemen, if that's you, then you're dealing with the consequences or the repercussions of sin. I don't have no help in the sanctuary. I said you're dealing with the consequences and the repercussions of sin. I know that's a word that we don't like to hear in church anymore. We don't like to hear about sin. But can I suggest, ladies and gentlemen, when we start doing our own thing and going our own way, it always results in sin. God, y'all not going to talk back to me here. Y'all done turn me off at 8:30 in the morning. Look at a neighbor and tell them, neighbor, you got some sin in your life. You got some stuff in y'all ain't talking to nobody. I said, talk to your neighbor and tell them, neighbor, you got some sin in your life. You got some stuff inside of you that does not please God, and it is causing you some trouble. Is there anybody here that know you got something on me? You got some stuff. You got some ways. You got some dispositions. You got an attitude. You got some mental stability. You got some mental things going on inside of your head that are not like God. You think some thoughts that God wouldn't be too pleased with. You say some things out of your mouth that God may not be too pleased with. You even do some things with your hands that God may not be pleased with. You take your feet, take you some places that God may not be pleased with. You got some sin in your life. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen. David says, I'm in over my head. And here's what he realizes, though. Even though he's in over his head, I hope y'all catch this. He says, even though I know I'm in over my head, I also know nobody but God can get me out of it. Y'all missed what I said. I said, even though I know I'm in over my head, I realize nobody but God can bring me freedom from this sin. Nobody but God can regulate everything that I'm going through. Nobody but God can step in and turn things around. Is there anybody in the sanctuary that knows even in the midst of your mess ups, even in the midst of your intentional sin, God is the only one that can bring you out of it? Is there anybody in the sanctuary that came to church this morning and say, God, I thank you that even when I deliberately went against your will, you still set up a plan for me to come out of the sin that I was in? Do me a favor, look at somebody, tell them, neighbor, I was nobody but God. Watch this. Watch this. Well, David, how did you get out? David says, I got out, number one, by action. Says I got out by action. What do you mean, David, by action? Watch what he says. Watch what he says. Watch what he says. Watch what he says in verse number 1. Watch what he says in verse number 1 of Psalm 40. Watch what he says. He says, I waited patiently for the Lord. And he inclined to me and heard my cry. Did y'all catch what he said? He said, I waited patiently for the Lord. Watch this now. The word waited here in the Hebrew is the word sharath. It means, catch this now, it means to minister to or to serve through worship. Y'all missed it. Y'all missed it. Y'all missed it. See, traditionally, when we look at this text, and we look at it on the surface level, and it says, I waited, we automatically go to Isaiah 40, where Isaiah says, hast thou not known, hast thou not heard, that the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is he weary, there's no search of his understanding. He gives power to the faint of them that have no might, he increases strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall, but they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount on wings like eagles, they shall run and not be weary, they shall walk and not faint. We always go right there, but the word waited here in Psalm 40 does not mean standing still and waiting. God, I'm going to get into trouble right through here. The word here in Psalm 40, waited, does not mean I stood there and just waited for God to move. The word waited here in Psalm 40 means to minister to or to serve through worship. In other words, because the text is written in the active tense, it suggests that David did not just say I waited, but he shouted I waited on the Lord, which was actually his praise and worship to God, even in the middle of his sin. Y'all miss what I said in here. I said because the text is written in the active tense, it means that David did not just say I waited on the Lord, but he actually repeatedly shouted I waited on the Lord, which in the Hebrew gives us the word Shabbat. Shabbat literally suggests to extend or to commend with a loud, exuberant voice. So when he says, I waited on the Lord, he didn't just say it. He went to giving God glory and saying, God, I'm waiting on you. God, I'm looking for you. God, I need your help. And even in the middle of his trouble, even in the middle of his sin, David had enough sense to say, if I call on him, he got to answer me. And I need to know, is there anybody in the sanctuary that came to church this morning to say, if I call him, he has to answer me. If I stay there and call him long enough, he has to pay me some attention. And so is there anybody here that came to church this morning to say, I waited patiently on the Lord? I wish I had somebody that knew how to worship through all of your sin. I wish I had somebody who knew how to give God glory and praise through everything that you're going. Is there anybody in the sanctuary that came to church today to say, God, it doesn't matter what I'm dealing with, I owe you praise. It doesn't matter even if I messed up, I owe you praise. It doesn't matter what I did wrong, but I owe you glory. It doesn't matter where I went that I shouldn't have gone, I still owe you praise. Is there anybody here that can say, God, I came to church today to wait on you? What are you waiting for? I'm waiting on you to turn it around. I'm waiting on you to fix it. I'm waiting on you to make it new. I'm waiting on you to give me another try. I'm waiting on God to hear my cry. I wish I had somebody that early this morning that came to church to say, God, I need you. I need you. I'm lost without you. I can't make it without you. I need you to work on me. I need you to keep me. The next time I get into this situation, don't let me go so far. Fix me this next. Y'all ain't talking back to me in here. Fix me so that I don't have the desire to do what I did the last time. God, I'm waiting on you. Watch what it says. Watch this. Please catch this, ladies and gentlemen. The backside of the text takes us to Mark chapter 10. Backside of the text takes us to Mark chapter 10, starting around verse 46. Because there in Mark chapter 10, around verse 46, you find the story of a man named Bartimaeus. Bartimaeus was a blind man. Thank you, Holy Ghost. He was a blind man. And because he was a blind man, the Bible says that he sat by the roadside begging. Yet he was waiting on somebody to give him a handout. But what he found out was today was his day for deliverance. He was looking for a handout, but finally came and got his deliverance. Bartimaeus was sitting there in the text says that he heard that Jesus was passing by. And the Bible says that Bartimaeus began to cry out. He began to wait on him. He began to shout, "Thou son of David, have mercy on me." He began to cry out with a loud voice, "Thou son of David, have mercy on me." And the Bible says that the more Bartimaeus began to cry, the more the people told him to be quiet. The more they told him to be quiet, the more he began to shout. He said, "I can't move until he moves on me. I gotta stay here until I get his attention. I gotta stay right here until he works some things out for me. I gotta stay here until he changes me. I gotta stay here until he moves on me. I gotta stay here until he fixes my situation." And the Bible says the more that they called him, the more that he called him, the more the people told him to be quiet. But finally, he got God's attention. Is there anybody here that came to church? Thank you, Terrence. Is there anybody here that came to church to get God's attention? Is there anybody here that came to church to say, "God, I don't know what it is that you're doing, but I need you to get, I need your attention. I need you, God. I'm waiting on you. I'm waiting on you. I'm waiting on." I wish I had somebody here that came to church this morning and say, "God, I'm waiting on you. I'm waiting. I'm worshiping you until I get your attention. I'll praise you until you fix me. I'll worship you until your glory falls on me." Look at your neighbor. Tell him, "Neighbor, I'm waiting on God." David says, "He got me out by action." But watch this. Number two, he says, "I got out by position." Y'all ain't gonna talk to me. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me today. He says, "I got out by position." How do you see position, Pastor? Look at verse 2. Look at verse 2 of Psalm 40. Look at verse 2. Please watch. He says in verse 2, "He brought me out of a horrible pit." He says, "Out of the miry clay, and set my feet on a rock and established my goings." Did y'all catch what he said there? Watch this now. You got to see how David sets it up, because he says, he brought me out of a horrible pit and the miry clay. Please catch this now. The horrible pit that he talks about in the text was really called a sound pit. Because what would happen in the pit when someone was thrown into a very deep pit with an open end at the top, the only thing you could hear as they were falling was the voices of as they were going down deeper into the pit, and you could hear the distress as they were going down. In other words, people could hear that they have come to their last by the sound in the pit. Y'all want to talk back to me here. So he says, I was in a horrible pit. But then, to make matters worse, I had miry clay. Miry clay is simply suggestive of quicksand. You know, stuff, you get into quicksand and it gets you down and you start falling quickly. You start sinking. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me here. You start sinking fastly. You start sinking quick. It's quicksand. The more, oh God, the more you move, the faster you sink. I don't have no help in here today. I said the more you move in quicksand, the faster you begin to sink. And so they tell you, if you ever find yourself in quicksand, the only thing you're supposed to do is stand still. I don't have no help in the sanctuary. Is there anybody here? I need you to understand that horrible pit and miry clay, they're symbolic of a life stained and stuck in sin. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me here. horrible pit, miry clay. They're symbolic of a life stained with sin. The pit and the clay of sin keeps you drowning and getting deeper in the endless pit. Y'all miss what I said. I know some of y'all done turned me off already because you don't like to hear about sin, but I came to tell you your sin is what's causing you to sink. Your sin is what keeps you going down. Your sin, oh God, I'm sorry. Yeah, your craftiness, your connivingness, your lying tongue, your deceitful heart. That's what's causing, y'all ain't talking to me in here. That's what's causing you to sin in your life, is what's causing the trouble that you're going through. I gotta quit. I'm gonna leave y'all alone. I'm done. But David says, nobody but God could change my position. I wish I had a real church here today. Look at somebody and tell them, neighbor, I was in the pit and I was in the clay, but God changed my position. What did he do when he changed your position? He brought me out of the pit and out of the clay and set me on a rock. Y'all missed this right there in the text. You got to understand what David was saying here was that he stopped sinking and became stable. I need to know, is there anybody in the sanctuary that came to church today that saw your life sinking, but when you met Jesus, you found stability. You saw your life sinking, but when you found God, you found out that he was the most solid rock you could ever be in, you could ever have. On Christ, the solid rock, I stand. All of the ground is sinking, saying, I dare not trust the sweetest frame, but I hold and lean on Jesus' name. On Christ, solid rock I stand. All of the ground is sinking. Said, is there anybody here that came to church this morning to say nobody but God could do this to me? Y'all ain't talking to me in here. I wish you would get excited and say nobody but God. Take a look back over your life and see all of the pits that he brought you out of. Take a look back over your life and see all of the quicksand he brought you out of. And look where you are now and say nobody but God. I think I feel like preaching right about here. Do me a favor, look at your neighbor and tell them, neighbor, it was nobody but God that can do what he did for me. Nobody but God could bring me out of the pit that I was in. Nobody but God could raise me up from where I was. I heard the hymnologist say that I was sinking deep in sin, far from the peaceful shore, very deeply stained within, sinking to rise no more. But the master of the sea, he heard my despairing cry, and from the waters he lifted me. Now safe am I. Look at your neighbor and tell him, neighbor, it was love that lifted me. Y'all ain't talking to nobody. I said, look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, it was love that lifted me. Give me one more second. I got a couple more gears to go here. I said, look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, love, it lifted me. Yes, it did. Y'all ain't talking to nobody. Would you look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, when I thought I had gone down for the last time, God's love stepped in and brought me out. When I thought that it was over, when I thought I was finished, when I thought that I had done everything I could do, his love came and gave me another chance. I wish I had somebody here that would get excited this morning and say, God, I thank you for your love. Can't nobody love me like Jesus. I said, can't nobody have done that for me. It was nobody but God. Will you slap fire with your neighbor and tell them, neighbor, I got a new position on life. I'm standing where I was sitting, where I was laying, and where I was sinking. I now have another position. He changed me from where I was, from somebody here that knew that God changed you. Look at your neighbor today and say, neighbor, he changed me. Y'all ain't talking like you really believe it here. I said slap five with a neighbor and slap him with an attitude and say, neighbor, he changed me. I may not be everything I'm gonna be, but I'm sure not what I used to be, because he changed me. Yeah. Do I have anybody here that will look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I'm so glad that the Lord changed me. Well, I got to close here. He says, I did it. I got out by action. I got out by position. But then I got out by proclamation. I'm done here. He says, I got out by proclamation. Verse number 3. Watch what David says. He says, out of everything that I've been through, the Lord, he put a new song in my mouth. Y'all miss what I said here. I said he changed my language. Let me see, can I be biblical for you? The Bible says in Acts chapter 2 that when the day of Pentecost had fully come, they were all together on one accord, and then the Lord, he changed the language. I wish I had somebody here that would look at somebody and say, neighbor, I had a language change. I used to speak the language of sin. Now I speak the language of the saints. Well, what's the language of the saints? Here is the language of the saints. No weapon that's formed against me shall prosper. What's the language of the saints? I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. When you look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I got a new language, and a new language calls for a new proclamation. Well, what is a proclamation? Well, all a proclamation is a word that leaves out of your mouth into the atmosphere. And David says, I got a new song on the inside. I got a new song that I got to put in the atmosphere. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I got a new song that I need to sing. The choir may never sing this song. The praise team may not know the words. The musicians may not be able to grab the key. But I got a new song down on the inside of my spirit. Is there anybody here that came to church this morning and say, I thank God that I got a new song down on the inside? What's your song, Pastor? Nobody is greater than you. What's your song? You are great and greatly to be praised. All honor and glory is due your name. What's your song? You are my everything. Is there anybody in the sanctuary came to church this morning to say, I thank God for my song? Let's ride now. Look at your neighbor tonight and say, neighbor, I thank God that nobody but God could do this for me. He did it when nobody else could do it. He changed me when nobody else would work in my favor. Look at your neighbor tonight and say, neighbor, I got a new song down on the inside. Y'all ain't talking to nobody. I said, look at your neighbor and tell them, neighbor, if you need to know nobody but do me